It's time to create a profitable, scalable, and sustainable studio for yourself and your students. Welcome to Dance Studio Empire. I'm Jen, dance studio owner for 30 years, running multiple locations with over 1,000 students, dance business coach turned mastermind mentor for dance studio owners, creatives, and leaders like you. I know you're committed to growing your studio and creating the time and financial freedom you most want, while also being the best in the industry with a reputation to match. I've coached hundreds of studio owners who have grown to 250, 500, and over 1,000 students using my signature studio scaled method. And in this podcast, I'll give you the clarity, strategy, and CEO mindset to help you do the same. Let's dive in. Hey Dance Fam, and welcome back to this week's episode of the Dance Studio Empire podcast. With me today, I have a guest, Miss Alex Stacey. Alex is the owner of Eternity Dance, which is in Werribee in Victoria. She is a mum to two beautiful girls and a social media and TikTok extraordinaire. And I'm so happy to have you on the episode today. Thank you for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen.
Okay. Now, I love hearing people's story from the beginning. Could you tell us and the listeners how it was for you, the positive and negative experiences that you may have growing up, and then what led you to having your studio?
So I, like many, started dance when I was small. I think I was 2 or 3, and I remember being the youngest in the class. And I was always such a nervous kid. So my mum was like, we have to put her in dance and we have to make her more confident. This is the way that we're going to grow her confidence. So I grew up dancing, changed studios here and there, depending, because I had breaks in between. I didn't really take dance seriously until I was about 15 or 16. And of course, that's when like high school is like, you have to start thinking about what you're going to do as a career. And I was like, I want to dance. I want to be a dance teacher. And they're like, no, like come up with a backup. So I always thought about dance as a career or doing something there. Like I always loved teaching and being a leader of some sorts. I ended up at a studio where it was a little bit more serious. I danced from 16 to 19, and I reckon I danced and assistant taught for about like 30 something hours a week.
Oh,
I did pre-professional training. It was a lot. And then during that time, that's when I took it the most serious. I went and did professional gigs as well. So I traveled around Australia. I did tribute shows. So I did like Robbie Williams, Katy Perry, Kylie, like all bits and pieces, and kids shows in between. It was just sort of whatever came our way. We just did. And being like a 17, 18, 19-year-old, that was like, it blew my mind being able to jump straight in and do these shows. Yeah. And then of course, high school sort of ended and they were like, look, you can't do dance as a career. It's not sustainable. So I went and did a sound engineering course. So I'm actually a qualified sound engineer.
Wow, there you go.
But if you ask me the difference between a white noise and a pink noise, I'll be like, yeah, no, I don't know how I passed.
I didn't even know there was such a thing as pink noise. So there you go.
Yeah. So there's different types of noises. I don't know how to explain it. But yeah, so I was studying that. I was dancing full time, and I got to a point where I was actually offered a part scholarship to a full-time school, but it was 3 hours away from where I was living because I lived in regional Victoria at the time. And I said to mum, I can't take it. Like, I can't move away from you. I'm too young. I went to go politely reject it, and then I found out that they had actually given it to somebody else without telling me. That was the first sort of like, oh, moment. And I hadn't auditioned for this school. They had just seen me dance, which was basically how my whole professional career went, is that people saw me dance and I wasn't the most technical dancer, but I always like to say that I have very good facial expressions and persona while dancing. So then from there, I just had sort of an epiphany moment and I was like, I'm going to go to university. I went to university for 1 day in entertainment management. I went and I said, screw this. I don't want to be writing essays for the next 4 years. So I waved them goodbye and then was like, well, what am I going to do without dance? And I woke up the next day and I was like, I'm going to open a studio. And that's literally how I opened my studio. No qualifications, no certificates, no nothing, because it's an unregulated industry, especially like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And then, I opened overnight. I literally called the local community hall, was like, I want to put on dance classes. She didn't question it. She just said, sure, sign this, get a key deposit. And from there, I learned the hard way that without planning, you're probably not going to succeed or do quite well. I didn't have a business plan, no operations plan, no visions, no values, no mission statement, probably no website. I actually don't remember having a website. It just sort of grew from there. And then over time, I realized I needed to fill in the gaps. So I did my Cert 4 in dance teaching and management. I did my TAU, and then I went on and did my diploma of dance teaching and management at Transit. So I ended up being there for 5 years all up. And in that time, I think I got married and had a child. Then COVID hit. That was 7 years. So I've had my studio 7 years now under one name. COVID hit. Of course, what you do is you cry because you think your business is going to close.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. I cried and was like, this is the end of my business. We're not doing Zoom. We're in community halls. Everything is shut down. And then again, I had another epiphany moment and I was like, I'm just going to rebrand. This is the perfect time to rebrand. But I tell you what, it was the best thing I ever did. Rebranding saved my business. I think it saved my sanity as well. I had those, I don't even know how long we were locked down for because I'm in Melbourne. I felt like it was years. I was so glad I had a day job to keep me sane and my in-laws are around the corner. But I had that time to really reflect on what I wanted and where I wanted to go with my business, because where I was going was not it. I was almost embarrassed to say my studio name. I don't say it now. It's like saying Voldemort. You don't say the name of the studio. It's banned. Because it just sort of gave me the ick. And that's how it felt when I talked to people when they found out I was a studio owner. So rebranding has made me more proud. This is our 3rd year rebranded. So this is my 9th year all up. We've got about 215 kids. We just exploded from having organization, systems and processes. It has blown my mind. But yeah, that's sort of like a all around me and my journey.
I love it. I love it. How you just got in and started. I love that. And I'd love to go back to that point, because for many of us, when we're thinking about starting something or implementing something new, there's so much time spent on procrastinating, and I can't let the information out yet because I need to build a website. I've got to design my logo. That's a really great example of just getting in and making it happen. And the story that you tell about how COVID was a blessing in disguise for you in the likes of how you were running your business almost allowed you to do this rebrand, but you wouldn't have had anything to rebrand if you hadn't have got in and started. And so many people say if you're not embarrassed by your first release, then you waited too long. And so this is just the beautiful, perfect example of that. And we talk about the pivoting during COVID. A lot of us had to pivot in different ways. And it sounds like it was just, the perfect timing for you. So well done to you for that. That's a huge achievement.
Thank you. It definitely felt like a 360 moment of all the things that you have in your studio. Everything changed, from suppliers to logo to colors to website. Everything just got flipped on its head because we had to. Like, that was the only way to survive. So I live sort of by the mantra, be proactive rather than reactive. So when I first started my studio, I was reactive because I had that thought of, I'm going to open. And it was like, oh yeah, we're just going to get an ABN and a business name. And that was it. There was no thought about it. So being able to do it a second time and really research, like, what does eternity mean? Mm-hmm. What does the color blue mean? What does the uniform say about us? Because that was never thought about. It was like, oh yeah, this is cool. This color's cool. Yeah, we're just going to pick that. There's so much meaning behind everything that I think we forget sometimes.
Yeah. And that emanates, that thought behind it does emanate to the people who are then attracted to you. Yeah. So I think it's really important. But we do have to start somewhere at some point. So I think that's just the perfect way to go about it. Well done.
Thank you.
So what does your week look like now within the business?
I actually still have a daytime job, but I am still on maternity leave. I have managed to drag it out as much as possible. So we're currently on leave and I've been there 10 years. Yay! But at the moment, on a Monday, it looks like gymnastics, and from gymnastics going straight to the studio until 8:30. Tuesday, we get up, we do the kinder run. Then I take my youngest, who's 1. We go to the studio and we're there from 9 to 9. We have homeschooling classes on that day. Wednesday is a bit of a day off because that used to be the the day that I worked. So that's my admin day and clean the house day. Trying to juggle between being a mum, a studio owner is so hard. Then again, we have classes until 8 p.m. and then go back Thursday, kinder drop off, admin, go to the studio, daytime classes. I was actually speaking to my studio manager before, and there's no time that I switch off. You go home, and for me being a mum as well, it's, oh, I've got to pack your lunch for tomorrow, or I've got to get you ready. I've got to give you a bath. I've got to feed you. Like, of all things, I've got to feed you. And then answering emails, phone calls, like you would know this. So my week is normally quite busy.
It's big. It's a lot. And I guess the hope is that you enjoy the journey, I guess, like a lot of us struggle. It's hard when you've got young kids. I'll just say from the other side now with older kids, it does get easier. And during that time, we have to give ourselves the grace that the pace of life is just changes, and we can't, well, for me, I just wanted to give like 100% to the studio. But the reality is when you've got little kids, you've got needs to meet.
Oh, yeah, 100%. So even though it is busy, there is the flexibility there when you are ready for it. And I'm sort of happy that I can have my girls there. Like, they both love dance. It's, what's that saying? It takes a tribe to raise a family. So my dance families are absolutely amazing. Like, when they see me struggling, they're like, we'll just take the baby. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then there's a mum walking around with Riley, or, they're like, oh no, let us help. And they will help clean up the studio. Maybe they'll feed them dinner or take them for a walk, or, so it really does take a tribe. And to have that flexibility, even though I am quite busy like many others, it is still a blessing to have them there with me and take them on this journey.
Yeah. That culture that you just spoke about, that's clearly evident in your studio. That's something that you promote a fair bit, is that community over competition. Why is that so important to you?
Well, when I did open my studio, I had no support. I tried to ask a few studio owners or to do research, or even, I think I was even asking in the Facebook groups, the studio owner Facebook groups, about asking for help with something, like how to do something, and no one would ever answer. No one would answer. No one would connect with me. It was all very hush hush, and, oh, you have to find out the hard way. Now, being in the position where I do see myself as successful of some sort, I'm now able to give back and give to people what I needed. So that's sort of where community over competition came from, is that I do believe that everybody has a space and place in this industry, and we are all quite different. Like, there are studios around me that are absolutely amazing, but we're not on the same path. They're a ballet school. I'm a recreational that does competitions, and then there's highly recreational schools, there's preschool schools. Everyone does something different, and I think we can all learn something from each other, that it shouldn't be a burden to say, hey, look, I actually need some input. What do you think about this? Or have you ever done this before? There's no harm in that. You don't have to give them your bank details or, your secrets that you've learned for the past 30 years, but maybe it's, hey, you know what? This did work for me. This didn't work for me. Or simple as, this accounting software worked, or this CRM is cheaper than that one. Why don't you try that instead?
Yeah. And there is a bit of a refreshing shift happening at the moment, I'm feeling, and you might be feeling it as well. That younger generation, you guys coming through now in the industry, are so much more open and willing to share. It's like there's less of that gatekeeping, and it's not all studio owners my era, but there is a change, and I think it's really refreshing, and it is so helpful. Like you just said, there is enough for everyone, but there's nothing to say that we can't help each other out. The general support. I totally agree with that. And speaking of support for you, you have a studio manager who's also your best friend.
Yes.
And, she seems pretty invaluable to you. Could you give us a little bit of a background about how you got her to be where she is and what she does to support you in the studio?
Oh, she'll love this. Okay, so her name is Eden. We have actually known each other for more than 20 years, more than 20, 25. We don't know, whatever it is. Her mum was actually my primary school 3-4 teacher. And as a child, unfortunately, she was quite unwell. So her mum used to sneak her in to school when she had to have days off. So that's sort of how we met. Years later, we were at the same slumber party, and we didn't realize until her mum rocked up. And then we've sort of been inseparable ever since. I think that was that was 10 years ago now, and we've talked every single day since. And she has been an absolute rock for me. I would not be able to run the studio I have today without her, but we've always been quite open. without her, I wouldn't be as successful as I was. Like I am. She helps right down to like, she's got my kids right now. Like she looks after my kids. She helps the operations. Now she's more of a social media and events manager sort of for me. Everything that she does, she runs by me. And we've always said, like, you know, if I disappear, that she's the one that runs my studio. She knows what to do. And I think it is really important when you have a studio that you have someone else there that you can chat to, bounce ideas off, because it's such a lonely job, especially if you don't have that support system. So having a staff member or a manager or accounts manager or whatever else, an administrator there makes such of a big difference.
Absolutely. It's essential for growth, being able to bounce those ideas. And because you don't have anyone to bounce them, you'll play with it in your head for too long instead of just making something happen. So
yeah. Oh yeah. I just message her. We message each other all types of hours of the day. And we're just like, hey, we should go see this movie. Oh, by the way, I thought of this idea of what we can do for exams. It's two very different conversations that tends to go on. We bond so well, and there's no one better.
And that slides nicely into the next part of the interview I want to talk about is you're quite prolific on social media and particularly on TikTok as well. In fact, you're quite TikTok famous apparently, I hear. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit more about that, when you started, why you started, and the impact that you're seeing at the moment with it.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. So I am on TikTok. I've been on TikTok for a while, probably since COVID. Everyone jumped onto TikTok during COVID. And that was the good old days of TikTok where it was all dancing and funny trends. And then it sort of shifted because a lot more people were on there. COVID went out of the headlines as much as possible and TikTok changed. And then people on TikTok really loved information. Again, had that impulsive moment where I was like, oh, I should just post about being a studio owner, being a dance teacher. And I just started posting POVs. So if you don't know what POV is, it's point of view. And I just post funny trends, funny audios, but relating it back to being a dance studio owner or a dance teacher. And then that morphed into, oh, I'm going to give some tips on how to be a better teacher, or I'm going to give some tips or some advice on how I run my studio. And then all of a sudden it just sort of like took off, because I guess that's the algorithm as well. Once it sorts you out, it sorts you out. So it must have sorted me out into being a dance studio owner or being in the dance industry. And then the community just sort of grew from there. I would say the videos that I post are politely unhinged. So I know the other day I posted a video of me crying because I was over term 2. It's all very authentic. I don't hide anything. Like when you think of influencers, you think of the perfect life. And I, one, don't have that. And two, I wouldn't want to post that because that's not what being a dance studio owner is. I post my fails. I post things that don't work. And it's growing into this community that is insane. Like I didn't notice how big the reach became until I went to an expo in Sydney earlier this year, and people were literally walking up to me and being like, oh, you're Stacey, you're on TikTok. And I'm like, oh yeah, hi. And they're like, can we get a photo? And I'm like ready to take a photo of them. And they're like, no, we want a photo of you. People were approaching me in person, and I couldn't believe that even though like I've only got about 11,500 followers or whatever it is on TikTok, but because it's such a tight niche of people, the reach has actually been quite massive. I have people from New Zealand that contact me. I have people from the US. I have so many, my inbox is full of people being like, I don't know what to do. How do I do this? How do I do that? Like I'm having this problem with a parent, and I will always respond, you know, and if I don't know the answer, I will tell them, look, I don't know, but let's find it out together. It's been a fun little journey. I post for fun, not for being too serious. And like I said, it's all authentic. Like everything you see online is me. Like I literally posted myself crying and upset. We recorded an unboxing video the other day. I got an LED light and my children are running around screaming in the video. And I'm like, how do I post this? And we're like, well, we're just going to have to post it. But people respond to that. I didn't realize people love seeing the real life of a dance studio owner.
I love that. My favorite one is your outfit of the day. Doing your outfit of the day. I love it. For me, it'd be same black top, same black tights, same top, same black tights.
I can only really do outfit of the day once a week because I tend to wear the same stuff because I'm like, oh, black leggings and studio top, maybe a jacket. And that's it. Like, that's what you live in. Like today I'm actually in a nice top and jeans because we're going to the movies. So I got to get out of the studio clothes, but getting out of the studio clothes is so hard.
Absolutely. So I've got a question. Have you seen an impact in your studio with being on TikTok?
There has been definitely a few moments where parents are scrolling on TikTok in the lobby and then they go, this is you. You're on my For You page. And I'm like, oh, great. Oh, no. Let's like, can you just scroll on? It hasn't really affected the studio negatively. The ones that have found me have been like, wow, I didn't know that this is what happens behind the scenes. You do so much. It has sort of made them appreciate a lot more what I do. But what I say online is what I preach as well. Like I don't ever say, wow, I'm going to do this amazing thing and not follow through. So everything that I say online and say that I'm going to do online, like right down to, I think one year I had my journey to 200 students, was completely honest with all of that. And that sort of pushed onto my studio with everything that I was doing, the culture that I was trying to create, the visions and values, the atmosphere. But yeah, thankfully nothing negative, all positive.
I would think so. I would think that it would be more positive for the studio as well. You know, even as a parent, you just mentioned like seeing the behind the scenes or how you got somewhere or speaking about culture and values. Like I would love seeing that behind, you know, as what's happening behind a business that I'm backing. So yeah, I think that's really good. And I think a lot of our listeners have to bite the bullet and, you know, get a little bit more face to camera on social media.
That's actually what I was just about to say. It has definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone. I hate hearing myself speak and I hate watching myself back or even just looking at photos. So it sort of has pushed me to be the face a little bit more, to be like, I am the studio owner. And then we're slowly trying to implement TikToks and Reels into the studio.
Thank you for sharing that information. I think people will get a lot from that and we'll definitely have to check you out. I just want to move on to, in September, you have actually been asked to, is it co-facilitate the VIP teachers room at ADF, the Australian Dance Festival, which is super exciting. So for those who have been to ADF before, what's different this year?
Okay, so this year, we're sort of doing a revamp of the teachers room. So in the past, we've called it the teachers room. This year, it's the Teachers VIP Lounge. So we're just, I guess you could call it a reboot, revamp, rebrand. We're really trying to instill the community over competition, having it more as an open learning space rather than like sit down and you must listen and there's no time for questions. Because I know some of the events that I've headed to over the years, which shamefully has been quite a bit that I've spent away from Melbourne, there's not really much time to actually have discussions. And discussions, I find personally, is where you learn the most. Like you've just been given all this information and it's, what do we do now? Like, oh, okay, it's on to the next one. It's like, oh, I actually had like several questions. So we've changed it a bit. It's more open learning, taken away the tables, taken away some chairs. And it's a time to build your community within the community, build those connections. We have mentors and you're sort of able to connect with a mentor who is right for you right now. So if you're a studio just starting or if you're a dance teacher just starting, there's going to be mentors there that are available to you to talk to. Or if you've been open for 30 years and you want to talk to maybe a social media expert, there's going to be people there that you can chat to and ask questions, you know, and maybe they have information for you or maybe it's a case of just asking questions.
Yeah, I think the format sounds really good to me. So I will actually be there again. I'll be one of the mentors, which I'm very excited about.
I'm excited too. I want to sit there and hear you talk and then be like, hey, Jen, like I have this problem.
100% agree with that whole having the conversations, because that's where the learning and the growth happens. And the fact that ADF is going to offer this opportunity this year, I think is very clever because it will then encourage more people into the room. So super excited about that. That's September 20 to 22nd. And the other good thing I believe they are doing is they're actually selling one-day tickets to the teachers' room as opposed to having to buy one ticket that covers the cost of over 3 days. So it's extremely reasonably priced. And if you're available, you're in the industry, I would definitely recommend heading in at least for 1 or 2 of the days. I think it would be very beneficial for them.
Yeah, definitely 100%. I mean, I went last year for the first time and now I'm helping to facilitate it, which is like, that blows my mind.
Yeah.
Myself and my studio manager last year flew up and back in one day. That's what we did. We did the red eye in the morning And then we did the last flight back to Melbourne. And I'll tell you what, it was probably the funnest experience that we had together was to able to, one, get up at 4 a.m. in the morning, but then to spend all day at ADF. We had never been. And it is such an experience, like right down from the workshops to the teacher's room to the shows. There's nothing that compares. There's nothing that is like that. And that's the reason why I'm so excited to get involved. And I'm so lucky and so blessed to be able to have this opportunity to share with everyone what it's like. You can be a studio owner from Perth and fly down and make a weekend of it. You can be from Tasmania and you can come up for the day. And just something else to add, Jen, too, is that both the more mature studio owners that have been around for a very long time and those that are new to being a studio owner, or maybe, like you said, are in that younger gen, there's something for everyone in the Teachers VIP Lounge. Like I said, you could be someone that's been open for 30 years and go, oh, you know what? I'm having a bit of an identity crisis. I need to come back and maybe learn something about TikTok or about Instagram and maybe connect with a younger studio owner. And then you can get something off of each other. That's what it's all about, is building that community and not thinking it as, oh, they're my competition. No, there's something there for everybody, and we can connect together and to hopefully make this industry a more cohesive and positive place.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to encourage anyone who's listening who may feel a little bit more introverted or don't feel part of the clique. I really believe in that room there isn't that feeling, and I'll be pushing that it's not, because I know there's a lot of perception that studio owners are extroverted and loud, but there are a lot of us that aren't. I am in that boat as well. And it's not that feeling when you come into the room. So if you are feeling a bit shy or a bit worried about stepping in, please don't. And then if you do and you don't know anyone, just run straight to my table and I'll be your friend. Okay, I'll look after you.
I'll be there too. That's part of what I'm doing this year is I'm helping to host the room. So part of my job is to make everyone feel welcome and hopefully put those connections in place that you can chat to someone.
I love that. Yeah. So encouraging anyone who is around September 20th to 22nd, jump on the website, have a look at some more information and get yourself a ticket and come and meet us face to face. I think it'd be cool. All right. Look, I'm going to wrap up. I appreciate your time. I do just have a question before we finish up. It's who's inspiring you at the moment? And it doesn't have to be within the industry. It can be someone on a podcast or a book you're reading or someone you're following on social media. The power of sharing this really opens the doors for a lot of people.
I probably don't have a specific person or thing, but it's definitely the studio owners that I have met through TikTok. So a big shout out to them that push me along every single day, that we share our wins and our losses too. Being able to visually see what they are doing and from all across the globe, they definitely inspire me and they push me to do more and to be more and maybe to try something different. Because like I said earlier, each studio is different and, you might get an idea from somebody else. So yeah, I guess studio owners on TikTok for the win, for inspiration for me today.
Love it. Love it. All right. So where can people find you? What's your handle?
My handle. Okay. On TikTok, it is at dance teacher Alex Stacey. And then it should be, look at me, I'm so professional. But on Instagram, it's the same. Yeah. Dance teacher.Alex Stacey. You can find me there. Connect. Let's chat. I want to talk to as many people as possible.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and all your expertise in this area and across the industry as a whole. Alex Stacey, see you in a couple of months at ADF.
See you at ADF, Jen. Thank you.